We're at Chateau Pichon-Baron, and it's the middle of the Primeurs week. We're tasting the 2014 vintage. This is one of my favorite times of the year because the Medoc, which is usually a fairly tranquil and peaceful place, is invaded by people from the entire world who come here to taste our wines. Here at Chateau Pichon-Baron, for example, we'll be receiving just over 1,300 people in 5 days. They all come to our tasting room and taste the wines of Pichon-Baron, but also of Chateau Pichon, Petit-Village and Sud-Europe. And the general ambiance is extremely positive because we have a very lovely vintage in our hands this year, both for reds and also for whites and for Sauternes. The particularity of this vintage was an extraordinary period in September and October. The summer was fairly cool, which is not absolutely ideal, and that might have been a negative for the vintage, but what saved the vintage was to have a wonderful month of September, and what transformed it into a remarkable vintage was to have great weather in October as well. This was particularly favourable for the Cabernet-based wines because we were really able to wait as long as we wanted to in October. Those crucial last days enabled us to tease out perfect ripeness in our Cabernets. So I think we have an exceptional Pichon-Baron, for example. But over on the right bank, there were some very lovely wines generally. And I think one of the things that made some of the right back wines outstanding was the success of, for example, Cabernet Franc, which were also able to benefit from this October period. And at Petit-Village we have 16% of Cabernet Franc, and it really gave a lovely freshness and lift to the wine. I think that the style of the wines is something similar to the classical fresh style of the 2008s and 2010s. I put them on that axis, and they are, I think, depending on the success of the individual properties, either closer to the 8s or closer to the 10s in style. I think that here at Pichon in particular, we're closer to our 10, but different, of course. And I think the wines have a wonderful freshness and charm about them, which the 10s in their youth didn't quite have the same style. I think that they will be great wines that one can lay down and age for a long time, because there's wonderful harmony, freshness, precision and balance in these wines. But they do have this very attractive, charming, open quality now. And so I think as well as being wines that will age a long time, they will be very attractive to drink relatively sooner than, for example, the 2010s, where you really have to wait quite a while. In Sauternes, we had a wonderful year in terms of quality, rather less cheerful in terms of quantity. We made a very tiny amount of wine at Chateau Sud-Europe because in order to make the pure botrytis wine that a great Sauternes has to be, we had to do a lot of eliminatory work because it wasn't all botrytis cinerea. We had all sorts of other things in the vineyard. It was necessary to be extremely strict on what we eliminated. So we only ended up making 7 hectolitres a hectare at Sud-Europe, which is an extremely small amount. But the resulting wine is a remarkable Sauternes. And there again, we were able to benefit from the October weather because the botrytis really arrived in October. And the greatest, the 2 last trees, which we did in the second half of October, with a tree which we used to make the Grand Vin in Sud-Europe. So the wine in Sud-Europe is characterized by a very pure, harmonious botrytis, lots of depth and complexity, but a very lovely, sort of fresh, lemony character this year, which I think gives the Sauternes a wonderful dry lift and energy. I think it's a beautiful year in Sauternes with a particular character. Again, to compare with other years, I will put it in the style of the 2001s, the 7s, the 11s, where you have great botrytis on wines with lovely freshness. And we shouldn't forget that there was a a very lovely dry white wine at Chateau Sudereau, which we made with this year 60% of Semillon, which is the grand cépage of Chateau Sudereau, and we're discovering that more and more that you can make really thrilling dry white wines in this property. So overall, an extremely positive year for Bordeaux. There's some really lovely wines. The general ambiance of people visiting is very upbeat and cheerful, because it's a pleasure to taste this vintage, and it's for us it's a huge pleasure to receive so many people from all over the world who come here to taste our wines, and it's just a very enjoyable experience to share this vintage with people from the wine world